Welcome back to Davidson Handyman. Today we're going to be cleaning a clogged sink drain in the bathroom. So the only items you need are a bucket, a toothbrush, a long item with a handle. Could be a screwdriver, could be a wooden dowel, just something small but long and hard enough to push through the sink drain if we need it, and some paper towels. The only good thing about cleaning a sink drain is that we don't have to kill the water supply, but the bad thing is that you never know what you're going to find in here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just clear everything out from under the sink and put the bucket under the P-trap. Because when we take these pipes off, this is filled with water, and it's by design. That prevents gases from coming back up and stinking up your bathroom. So there's a layer of water that sits in this P-trap that acts as a shield for that stuff. So there is water in here. So when we take these off, there's going to be water that spills. Plus, as we clean the pipes out and the drain, we want to have something to catch the water because there's not going to be any pipes to drain the water out. So now that that's set up, I always like to start by taking out the top part of the sink. This particular one unscrews. Some of them just pull straight out, and some of them you have to disconnect. There's a pull rod here that would come out of the side. You would squeeze the clip, pull it off the back of the rod, unscrew the fastener from the back of the drain pipe, and then just pull that straight out. And that will allow the top part of the drain to come free. So I'm going to unscrew this, and then we'll see what's inside. Okay. Let's unscrew this. This is not going to be pretty. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh. Yep. That'll do it. So I'm going to leave that right there. We'll clean that out in a minute. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to unscrew just where the PVC connects at the bottom of the drain pipe. We're not going to take the whole sink apart. You don't need the whole sink for this. So you'll turn this, if you can. You might need some pliers, depending on how tight it is. Nope. Got it today. So you'll turn this counterclockwise. Just loosen it up. Don't take it off yet. Turn this one counterclockwise, just to loosen it up. You can see some water already. And then this one, depending on how your sink drain is designed, most of the time you have to take this one off too. All right, we're going. Oh, that guy is on there. All right, so something you might also want is a pair of pliers, because this guy does not want to come off. So I'm going to go grab some pliers, and I'll be right back, and we'll get this guy off. Okay, so I just took 2 hands. That's all. So I got this loose. We're going to now unscrew all of this. Unscrew this, and this is going to drop out. See, now it's disconnected. So once I unscrew this, this is when you're going to get the majority of your water and any other nasty thing that's in this pipe is going to become visible. Come on. All right, here we go. I try and hold it. I don't want it to drop because it makes a big mess. And you can see right there, there's already Cleaning drains is not fun, but it's a necessary evil. So I just put that part in the sink. And this part typically isn't dirty, but I'll take it off anyway. Well, this one actually is dirty. So most of the time it's not really where your clog is. Your clog is going to be in your P-trap, but we'll clean this too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of this stuff in the sink right there, just like that. So now we have our drain pipe here going right into our bucket, because this is where the water is going to just pour into as we run it. And now I'm going to need the paper towels, the push rod, and this toothbrush. So we're going to come back up here. And then I like to look down the tube. At least we can see through it, the drain pipe. So it's not a complete clog. We're still going to use the push rod to clean it out. And what I do with that is I take a couple of paper towels, like so. Tiny little bit of water. Okay. Take the water and I put it in the drain like that. Just enough to add friction, but you don't want to clog the drain. And then I'll take the rod and push it all the way through. And you'll see as you push it through, that pipe is a lot cleaner now. And you can do that a couple times. And that takes care of the main drain pipe. Then I like to run a tiny little sprinkle of water like that. No more than that. And this is where I use the toothbrush. And I start scrubbing all this stuff up. I'll start with the drain. And then I use two hands and I go through this and I scrub all of this out, which I'm gonna do off camera because I need my other hand. So I leave the water running a little bit. I use that water to kind of wet this, scrub it down inside and out, make sure everything is nice and clean. And then I do the same to these with the toothbrush. Go inside, scrub all the walls, come through here. You can put some paper towels through here and pull them through the other side and clean that out. Do the same to this. And once all of this stuff is clean, I also do a little scrub on the inside of the drain to make sure nothing is stuck up here. Once all of this is clean, we'll rinse it out and then we'll reinstall. So I'm just gonna take the toothbrush to this, clean it out, and then I'll be right back to show you what it looks like when it's clean. So stay tuned. All right, so we got everything cleaned up. You can see how nice that is now. You got a nice clean drain. One thing to note while you're doing this cleaning and you have this water running, I try and keep it a very slow drip like this, because eventually your bucket's gonna fill up. And once that happens, you know, if you're not paying attention, it can overflow pretty easily. And then you got all that nasty stuff pouring out under your sink. So I got all the pipes cleaned out. Everything's nice. The toothbrush is your best friend on these kinds of jobs. Just use an old one that you don't use anymore, and make sure you label it or keep it with the cleaning supplies so you don't accidentally use it later on. That would be terrible for you. So now that this is cleaned up, I'm gonna just put this drain back in, the cap anyway. Screw that in. Good to go. And we'll come back down here. I'm gonna put this back in here. And then you want to get these set loosely so that they're threaded, but not tight, because you're going to need to make minor adjustments as you put these back on. Actually, see a little junk on the drain here. I want to clean off the pipe. There we go. There. Okay. So you want to make sure everything goes back on. And see, here's your micro adjustment here. So having that loose allows you to make those adjustments. Trying to do this with one hand is tough. Should be the... Got it though. Sweet. All right, so see, you get that on loose. Thread these. And for PVC, for these, you don't typically need the Teflon tape. I mean, it's always good to have as an additional seal on the threads to make sure it doesn't leak, but I haven't never really had a big problem with these leaking just because they have those gaskets on the inside. But if you wanted to put Teflon tape on it, by all means, go for it. All right, now we can tighten all these up real nice. You do want to make sure they're tight though, because if they're not, they will leak. And again, you can use pliers for this, but don't go crazy with it because it's PVC. I mean, you can crack it. And if you even get a micro crack, you're going to get a leak. So, all right. When we're done, we'll take the... Well, let's leave the bucket in here for now. Let's do a leak test. So I'm going to put the water on. Everything's looking good. Always want to do a leak check before you move the bucket. Make sure everything is dry so you can see any water coming down, and nothing. Perfect. Okay, and then you want to double check your drain. This particular one is just a snap drain. Works great. If you have the pull drain, you want to make sure you put it back on the setting that allows the lever to be pulled up and have that tension. You'll know what I'm talking about if you're dealing with it. This particular sink is a lot easier because we don't deal with that, but you want to make sure that all that is set up properly. And for these, the back connections that screw, you do want to use some Teflon tape if you have it, just because those are kind of a pain. It's a weird angle. They always go on weird. So if you have the tape, it doesn't hurt to use it. And then this bucket of disgustingness, depending on what's in it, as long as it's not crazy big or clogged or toxic, you can flush it down the toilet. So I would just pour this down the toilet, give it a flush, and you're all set. So I hope this helped. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.